4 generations ago, my species, the Malonics, sent radio signals out into the universe. We began to doubt that life existed at any place other than our homeworld of Malonius, at least until my forefathers met Acknowledgements. She was the ambassador for a species known as humanity. She gave us the impression that she was a benefactor, and only good things could come from an alliance with humans. She lied. Since then, several Malonics have formed countless rebel militias to overthrow the human invaders, I being in one of them. My name is Mathezr Bresak, and this is the story of my civilization's path to independence. In order to fight back effectively, we have embraced the qualities of an animal indigenous to the human's homeworld, known as a fox. We have had to become cunning, creative, and dynamic in order to overcome the gap between the power each of our races has. I sprinted through the Mathezr rainforest, holding my microwave rifle in my hand. Of all the things humanity has given us, microwave lasers, or Mathezrs, have been one of the most useful in our rebellion. While we still use conventional bullets like humanity, our small group of scientists has reverse-engineered the large Mathezr cannons mounted to the humans' genetically engineered animals and artillery stations, allowing us to have the advantage. Since the Mathezrs are able to cut through armor and buildings, it gives us an advantage in our rebel movement. I crouched down behind a log with the other teammates from my squadron. They were Mathezr Bresak, my own brother, Therios Lepsakian, a rifleman like me and Semchar, Tiekse Zundin, our explosives expert, Zvonerak Lursak, a breacher and heavy rifleman, and Chula Krebinov, our tech guy who can break through any security system. I took up a pair of binoculars from Chula and looked through them. Beyond it was Bastion, a military base left by the former Mathezr military. When the humans dissolved the World Forum and governments of individual nation-states on Malonius, it only left a world state policed by them. Despite this, the bases and forts left by some 100 nations before the invasion were still in service, but with human occupants. While they are a risky target because of their heavy security, if we can just get one of them, we can turn the tide in our favor, especially Bastion. As I plot my attack on this strategic location, I remember that my brethren on other worlds are plotting similar ambushes. With the former Mathezr capital of Osirax being made the world capital of Malonius, our only hope to reclaiming our planet is to take the Bastion due to its strategic position. While it is about 1,000 Vigesserat from the edge of Osirax, we can use the base as a strategic location to launch a quick attack on the city to liberate it. Once we take Osirax, we can use the complex, winding streets to lay traps for the humans if they try to retake it. Through the binoculars, I saw the hordes of human soldiers in service of the Empire of Sol. Because of their seeming appearance of uniformity in armor patterns, build, and height, some have joked that they were robots. Considering that humanity mainly uses genetically engineered animals with cybernetic implants to fulfill most of their roles, and only uses robots for spying, I find it likelier that they are just clones. They patrolled along the bridge spanning the chasm that separated the Bastion from the rest of the jungle. It would be difficult to get in there. "Is it good, Squad Chief?" Semchar asked me. "No, Char," I told him. Turning to Chula, I ordered, "Hand me the quantum radio." He handed me a small rectangular box with a CRT screen. This was another human invention that has aided our efforts. Because there are chips within each quantum radio that house an atom quantumly entangled with others in a network, it has allowed for us to have truly secretive communication, enabling us to spread our efforts to the other planets in our system we've colonized. "Sub-Legion Chief Korkaz," I requesting aerial assistance. "No problem." I then saw a V formation of small jets fly over the mountains. Out of their fuselages came several explosives. The human soldiers heard them falling, resulting in them aiming their fire at our aircraft. I saw one of them motion towards the jungle, and then put in a request on the side of his helmet. I saw a large winged creature with a frightening appearance struggle out of a cave underneath the mesa it was on. "Oh no," I said under my breath. instead of the usual hexapods used by humans to police our world due to their rapid speed and body-mounted Mathezr cannons. The pteropyrines are a species of flying animals used to rapidly burn down large tracts of land. I remember my grandparents still brooding about the large farms set ablaze by one pteropyrene as an example by humanity to remind the Malonics not to rebel. My assumption was that the pteropyrene had been sent to scorch the Mathezr jungle in order to burn us out. "It's time for our assault," I shouted. All 6 of us sprang up and ran back into the jungle. Deep inside was an all-terrain vehicle that we piled into. After I started it up, we raced through the jungle to the bridge. I had Chula send out another message, asking the other squads to converge on the bridge. If the pteropyrene was going to burn down the jungle, we were going to give the humans a surprise since we were charging before they wanted us to come to them. Like a fox, we were being unpredictable. The human soldiers, not expecting us, had a difficult time assembling their ranks. I heard the crack of the bullets and saw the flash of fire from their muzzles. I heard a tire pop, and the vehicle we drove skid along the stone of the bridge. As soon as we stopped, we all hopped out, firing our rifles. The only drawback to our Mathezr weapons is the long recharge time, necessitating the use of an additional system of bullets to allow for additional fire. Because Vonarak and Therios were the strongest of us, I ordered them to flip the all-terrain vehicle on its side, creating a barrier between us and the humans. As I ducked behind the vehicle to load a fresh magazine into my gun and let the Mathezr array cool down, I saw several other all-terrain vehicles bound out of the jungle just before the pteropyrene began breathing fire into the forest canopy. I heard the humans fall back in a panic, with the sound of metal collapsing on the ground at random. We were winning the battle. I ordered my squad to come out of cover, and we rushed to the human front. In addition to the super soldiers, I saw the standard hexapods and blimp beasts used in human warfare approaching. I tensed as I saw a blimp beast glide over the ranks of humans. Before the invasion by the Empire of Sol, many Malonics would have balked at the plausibility of certain creatures like the pteropyrene and the blimp beasts. However, the presence of a blimp beast is ominous. Originally a failed experiment created in the process of fine-tuning the pteropyrene genome, the blimp beast was filled with the flammable gases a pteropyrene created and exhaled once ignited. However, the blimp beast only accumulated gases and could never expel them from its body, leading its gas-storing organs to inflate and become heavily pressurized with volatile gases when the skin could stretch no more. Because of the danger posed by the gases inside of a blimp beast, it posed an immediate threat to both the humans and the Malonic Liberation Army. I aimed my gun at the blimp beast while it was over the heads of the human soldiers. I then saw its storage organs expand and quiver from the pressure created by the Mathezr before they ruptured in a fiery explosion that threw many of the humans over the guide rails of the bridge. My other comrades completed this action several times with the other blimp beasts, blowing up the hexapods as best as they could. Because of their back-mounted Mathezr cannons, the hexapods posed more of a threat than humans did in war, as a blast could leave a cannon and one would not know they were the target until they felt their hearts begin to swell from increased intracellular pressure. With most hexapods dead and the remaining humans cornered at gunpoint, we had taken Bastion. My commander for the mission, Sub-Legion Chief Korkaz, ordered celebrations for everyone. There was an assortment of delicacies and ales in the Bastion larder, and most of us indulged upon these treats. As I drank my tumbler of ale and devoured a large slice of sugar-coated cake, I could not help but feel transported back to when I lived in Osirax. While the Empire of Sol was harsh, they did improve some things for us to assume the image of benefactors. One of these was a better food distribution system. The original ration system was too nepotistic, leaving most of the Malonic population starving. The new system gave everyone, or at least most, a diverse amount of staple foods and luxury comestibles scheduled for different frequencies to keep us all happy. Yet it was not enough to keep my brother and I from exchanging our comfortable life as prospective logistics workers on Malonius for service in the Malonic Liberation Army. While the leader of the army had said that this mission would be the riskiest yet, I felt like there should have been more of a struggle on the part of the humans. Despite my festive mood, I felt that we were being set up. One day passed and there was no attack. The next day, we received our answer. Korkaz ushered me into his office. As we watched the scene play out on the CRT monitor, I could not help but stress. Nikor Hyo, a plump Mathezr in a suit and crown who was the puppet governor of Malonius for the Empire of Sol, sat in an oversized Hedra fur chair. Next to him was his advisor Rear Takai, a dark gray alien with 3 fins coming out of a triangular head, signifying his species as a Coriad. There was also a Noglitha, now an elderly woman kept alive and maintaining a somewhat youthful appearance through repeated telomere extension treatments. Malonic Liberation Army, Nikor began. We hope you are enjoying Kesark Bastion. We've read your manifesto about being like a fox. Well, you forgot about one thing. Some foxes can get trapped. While we may not be able to stop your attacks, we can find ways to lure you into the traps. Despite the location and importance of your new fortress, it is the prime trap for you. I hope you prepare for our attack, testing out a new form of bioengineered creatures, and then you will face a death appropriate for traitors. Glory to the Rende Emperor and the Empire of Sol. Then, the abridged version of the Anthem of the Empire of Sol, a catchy exotic tune that began with an a cappella choir, singing in the imperial scholastic and court language of Mandarin, followed by an assortment of stringed and wind instruments, concluded the propaganda piece. I broke a sweat. There would be a surprise attack on us at any moment. I'm summoning a ship to evacuate us, Korkaz began. Prepare for departure. I want this place to explode. If we can't have it, I'm not gonna let a bunch of furless freaks use it instead. I nodded. I radioed to my other teammates, and we convened in the armory, gathering enough weapons to defend ourselves. When Korkaz notified us our evacuation craft had arrived, we all rushed to the surface. As we descended the steps, I trembled at the sight before me. Several bulbous creatures with 8 long legs and several mandibles around a beak stalked towards us. While they lacked any cannons and intimidating pouches of gas on them, they let out a perpetual low growl, probably for echolocation since they lacked eyes. "Open fire!" I ordered as I fired several bullets at them. I saw them bleed orange fluid when my bullets pierced their soft flesh. After a few seconds, the orange liquid caught fire on its own, covering the creature. It then exploded, sending infernal torrents everywhere. "Run!" I shouted at my teammates. As we charged between the large creatures, I heard the evacuation craft land. The creatures began to scatter at the sound of the ship engines, giving us some space. I sent my teammates aboard the evacuation craft first, staying behind with Semchar to hold off the creatures. As I ordered Semchar to board the evacuation craft, I saw the beak of a creature open and a thick cord shoot out of it. It stuck to Semchar's chest and drug him towards it. "Mathezr!" I heard him scream as Korkaz fired several rounds into the creature. "Get out of here! Live to fight another day!" I then saw him fire his mazer at the creature. It ruptured in an explosion of burning liquid. "No!" I shouted as I felt Zvonarak grab me by the collar and drag me into the craft. The door slammed shut, obscuring my view. I walked to the rear of the craft and sat down on the bench, looking out the window at another transport heading for a starship. I turned the CRT television on, watching the latest broadcast. Several of these traps had been set up around the Empire of Sol, luring the Malonic Liberation Army and several smaller rebel factions into them. One by one, they were being purged. If they evacuated a planet because of the threat of an attack, they left the bluffing government under the Empire of Sol to take several important bases, sometimes those that housed rebel technology that they could then reverse engineer. If the rebels did not evacuate a planet, an attack of some sort followed through, and on those worlds where the puppet governments bluffed an attack and the rebels stayed, the war was being fought, but without the rebels being able to receive future reinforcements. Yet, through this all, I felt a sense of ennui. I had lost my brother back on Malonius, and this war was gaining more casualties as the minutes passed today. The traps had worked. I looked back out the window at the spaceship we were approaching. When all else failed, there was Excelsior Citadel, the last refuge for the Malonic Liberation Army and any other rebel groups we had allied ourselves with. It had been built for a time like this. If our lunar fortresses around the gas giant Tessiab fell, we would head there to rebuild and launch our counterattack.